Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another segment of Kensil Culture, the pop culture magazine. And right now, I'm the legendary Wid, and I am about to introduce, direct from Kensil Culture headquarters, the one, the only, John Kensil. What?
Hey, Wade.
What's going on, John? Don't you got nobody?
Kensil Culture, puppets, props, puns, podcasts.
Oh, it's so true. Oh. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another session of Kensil Culture. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce our host, our founding father. Yes, the man who puts pop in pop culture. Let's all have a nice hand. John Kensil. All right.
Hey,
Nice of
everybody.
you to appear.
I magically appeared. Thank you very much. The legendary Wid right there. He's the man. We're doing our Christmas episode right now because it's the 25th. Who else was born on the 25th? Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart. I was just reading about Humphrey Bogart as a urban legend. Now, a lot of people say that he was the model for the baby on the Gerber baby food. Okay, but that's not true. He was 29 when that came out. His mother was an illustrator, though. I did not know that. His mother was, Humphrey Bogart's mother was an illustrator, and she had put him on a different brand of baby food. But Humphrey Bogart's day, the 25th.
Well, something about him, too. Something else about him. He wore a toupee his entire Hollywood career.
And he had an affair with the woman who put that, who was her hairdresser or his
wig maker,
toupee wrangler. We call it a toupee wrangler because he would take these a drug for potency.
It's funny. I read that too, and I love how people have an affliction that could hit anybody, like baldness or anything like that. Well, of course, you have to have a noble reason of why he wears a wig.
Yeah.
And his was, he went to a fertility doctor.
He
took injections of hormones, and it made all his hair fall out, which it just fell out. He was bald since he started. So did Bing Crosby.
And the one that Sean Connery,
yes.
During his whole career, I thought in the beginning maybe that was his hair, but,
right.
He had the devil toupee.
Yes, this is true. But
my dad,
yes,
my dad's father was on the same ship, the Leviathan, as Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, really?
Where they say that he got his
scar,
or his talking like this from a cable that snapped aboard ship and boom, hit him in the face.
Oh.
That's where he got his thing. But maybe that's a noble sort of an excuse, too.
It always made me laugh, too, when you watch these old movies. I know some people have a hard time because it's black and white.
Uh-huh.
Humphrey Bogart was about 5'4".
Humphrey Bogart.
Right. James Cagney, was square head like that. They're all little guys. They're all short. Nobody was a big guy. But I was just very interesting.
There's a great picture of Humphrey Bogart from filming Casablanca where he had to wear platform shoes like this big because Ingrid Bergman was taller than him, or maybe even just the same size. But to do that, and there's a great picture of Humphrey Bogart, and it looks like he has something terribly wrong with his feet, but they were just on there. There's like 4-inch soles and heels on these things.
You have a goatee. There's a neat scene in Casablanca. They had a pickup shot at the end when they're saying goodbye. Like, go out. What's the famous line he says to her? Right.
He says, this could be the start of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's what he says to Claude Rains. But in the movie, if you watch it, when he's saying bye to the girl, Is it Ingmar Bergman?
He says, we'll always have Paris.
Yes. Well, if you watch that scene, they had to do a pickup shot. I mean, they had to film it a couple of times. Well, they couldn't go to a real airport.
Uh-huh.
They got a painting of a plane and had midgets, dwarves, little people, stumpy Americans, keepers of the forest. There's no lie, standing behind them. If you think I'm lying, we'll put a picture up of that. It's a famous scene, but you look in the background and go, wait a minute, it looks like two first graders in the background. And it's supposed to be for like a distance shot.
It was shot in the studio.
Yes.
And the plane, yes, was just made out of, was just made out of a big painting.
Yes.
Okay. And they hired the small people, the same people that were hired for The Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
There was a
no
dwarf wrangler out there who was famous for them.
One of my favorite scenes in, I think it's The Naked Gun 2, Frank Drebin, Leslie Nielsen, and Lisa.
Very funny.
Marie Presley. What's her name? Lisa Marie? Yeah, no, what's her name? Priscilla Presley.
Okay.
They go into a restaurant, bar, cafe, just like in Casablanca.
Uh-huh.
And
Rick's American Cafe.
And there's an African American gentleman playing the piano, just like in the first movie. And Humphrey Bogart never said, "Play it again, Sam."
No.
Right?
And that was Dooley Wilson playing the piano, and he really didn't play the piano. He was faking it.
Oh, I never knew that. Well, in the Naked Gun movie, they walk in, and he goes, "Can you?" And Leslie Nielsen said, "Can you play our song?" He goes, "Certainly, Frank." And he goes to play the piano, and he starts saying, "Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead." And Frank Drebin goes, "No, the other song." And he plays that song. It was so freaking funny. Now you just mentioned something, too. We were talking about Tiny Americans.
Yeah.
All right. I did a show last week with Ed McGonigal.
Ed McGonigal is a very funny Irish-descended comic who happens to be a little bit on the
Short side. Yes, he's 4'11" of civic fury. He's
one of the. See, I said a little bit on the short side.
Oh my! He's one of my favorite comedians. He writes all the time. He's very topical, very funny. But he looks like a little newsboy from the 1930s. He has little Jeff Cabin glasses. It looks like Father Mulcahy from MASH
Newsies
in a trash compactor, right? But we had to do a show last week in the Villas, which is a town outside of Wildwood, New Jersey, and I had to pick up Eddie for the show. Okay, Eddie's 4'11", and everybody loved him. He's
in
great.
high heels.
Yes. Oh, I'm never going to say anything. All right. So we pick him up. Our show was in New Jersey. We're driving from Philadelphia. Okay. I put on the Jersey talk station, the Jersey radio station, to hear traffic. What's a traffic report? Well, between traffic reports, it's Christmas time, people. They're playing Christmas music.
Ding, ding, ding.
So Eddie gets in my truck,
Right.
and the Christmas music's on, and he said, "Jesus, we gotta listen to Dominic the donkey the whole way down. This Christmas music, I'm gonna jump out the window." And I go, "I want to hear it for the traffic reports." He goes, "Oh, okay," because I can't take much more of that. So we get to the show.
You're a mean one, Mr. Kensil.
Oh, yeah, I don't make the news, I just report it, right? So we go there, we get to the show, and a big hulking guy comes. He's the owner of the place we're at. And he goes, "You the comedians?" I go, "Yeah, I'm John." And he goes, and he points to Eddie. He goes, "Is he on the show?" I go, "Yeah, he's a comedian." And the guy said, "You want me to get some milk crates for the stage for you?" And Eddie just goes, "Oh boy, here we go, here we go." Oh, man.
And I guess that's a problem for people who are. I was never short. Okay, even as a baby, I was tall.
Oh.
Okay, and but the shortest actor in Hollywood was Alan Ladd. Okay.
Oh, really?
Alan Ladd, the father of Cheryl Ladd, and other. But Alan Ladd, they would put milk crates under him, or they would dig a ditch. But he was a Veronica Lake. Look for Veronica
it's a
Lake.
famous
She
picture.
used to have a hairdo like that would go into your eye. These are vintage.
Everybody's short out there.
Movie star. She was the shortest of them all. She was like 4'2" or something like that. So they teamed them two up, the two shortest people in Hollywood, and
oh my God,
they made great pictures together.
Oh my God, there's Well, we know the story today. The Tom Cruise is short, but so is Robert Downey Jr. They're not really tall people.
When I saw the Rolling Stones in person,
my God.
they were at a party that we were performing at, and they came in and they looked like puppets. They were all, you'd think that they were giant people. And they were all like basically the same size, and they looked like those puppets from a Fireball XL5.
Like Team America.
But it was very enlightening to me to see, and I'd seen a lot of celebrities, but when you saw the whole group together and they're all like the same size, it was scary.
I'll tell you what, though, too. I want to go back to Eddie. I think he's a terrific comedian. He writes all the time, very topical. When I saw him we went to a show together, do like a showcase night, and I was watching some younger people, and they're very funny, and I have a hearty laugh. I really mean to laugh. If someone says something makes me laugh, I will heartily laugh. I mean it, right?
Yeah.
Well, before Eddie had to go up, he comes over to me and goes, "Hey, John, do me a favor. Don't laugh my jokes. It's distracting." And it made me feel bad because it was a real laugh. It wasn't like a fake, right? And
I hear you laugh sometimes when I'm up there. Not too much, though, John.
No, but I mean
give me the ones that you were supposed to give to Ed. And, yeah, exactly.
All right. So on the way home, Eddie goes, he's in my truck. And he goes, "John, do me a favor. Pull over. I got to pee really bad." All right. I go, "I'll find a place."
I've been there.
We pulled over to a closed down U-Haul place. And he housed it on my truck, and it looked like a Chucky doll running through a hayfield. And he goes, "Oh, man, my teeth were swimming. I got a bladder like a hamster." But he's very funny. But back to Christmas. Christmas, okay?
Oh, Christmas. I have a little bit. This is what they gave me for last Christmas.
What is that?
It's a broken drum.
Oh, man.
Hey, you can't beat it. May we have and then for Christmas, no. And then they gave me this, John. I got this last Christmas also. Well, I guess you
you can't see it. Look, you can't see it if you hold it in front of you. He had a green thing Aborigines used.
We're celebrating Christmas. Here's one of my favorite Christmas musics right over here. We all love Christmas music. Could you hold that up,
yes.
Dominic?
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, there's right here. There's Aretha Franklin. Okay, right there. And if we had a beer, it'd be Buddy Holly. Okay.
He making the big bucks. That's real. He has a giant wallet for that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's
you can't say what you want to say.
What's that?
He's effing goofy.
I wasn't going to say that, John. I don't have an affair. I would have an affair with Ariel or one of the other princesses, but not with Goofy.
Yes.
What? Here, for Christmas.
What's this?
This is Feliz Navidad.
Fleece. Oh, sheep. Oh, yeah.
Bah, humbug.
Ew.
Now, come on, it's my Christmas. Look, it's like a partridge in the pear tree.
Yes.
All right?
What do you call it? But Christmas is coming up?
Christmas is coming up.
Can I tell you my Christmas story?
Yeah, that's why I have this. This is actually for Santa. I'm trying to get on Santa's good side. So I'm figuring with all the little cookies he's got, a big cookie like this, I mean, he's got to leave me at least an Xbox.
Ed McGonigal made that in his treehouse. On Christmas years ago, my friend Al, the milkman, Civil War reenactor. One time there was this girl who hung at the bar.
Right.
And she's very nice, but she looked like an RC Cole machine with a fright wig. And she invited us over to her.
Oh, wait, back that up. An RC Cola machine with a fright wig.
She was like a jukebox with a Dolly Parton wig on tape to the roof of it.
Here we go again.
She did look like a mailbox that came to life. And she invited us back to her house, her apartment. And she lived in the basement apartment of 3-story apartment house. She was in the basement. Like, you look at her window, it was like Laverne Shirley. You could see the street right there.
Well, I lived in the basement of an insane asylum.
Really?
Oh, hey, they were all crazy over me.
Did you work there?
Yes, I was a cook at the insane asylum.
You were a cook at the insane asylum.
Yeah, I used to serve soup to nuts. Sorry. I thought I was Tom Jones. Is that strange? It's not unusual.
So we were at the bar drinking with this girl, right? And she looked like she swallowed a life raft, and they pulled the cord. And she invited us back to her place. So we go there, and we're drinking. And it was a dumpy little apartment with a cat with 3 legs and stuff, just a mess. And we're bombed, right? So we leave. It's Christmas Eve. There's snow on the ground.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm walking down the hallway of the apartment house, and I accidentally grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall.
Okay.
And we're on the park, and we start spraying one of those red fire extinguishers and seeing the white smoke come out. And we're laughing and laughing. Right? We go over to her basement window, and she has an air conditioner built into the wall.
Okay.
You know, the box in the window right there. And I knock on it, right? And I knock on it, right? And I put the fire extinguisher against the grill outside. And
what were you thinking, John?
I emptied the entire red canister in there, right? And we're just laughing, and we get the fire extinguisher, and we throw it in the dumpster, and we're all drunk, and we go home. The next day, I got a phone call from my friend Al, the milkman Civil War reenactor.
Yes, we love Al.
And he goes, "Man, we're in trouble." I go, "Why? What happened?" He goes, "The girl's house we went to, she just called me. She thought it was fire coming through her fire extinguisher."
Oh, my goodness.
Her air conditioning vent. And she goes, all this white powder came into her apartment and wrecked everything. And she knocked over her Christmas tree and stomped on all her presents because she thought they were on fire. She thought the white powder was fire. And she stomped.
Sure, it looks like smoke, John.
And she stomped and broke all her presents and flattened them all out. And he goes, yeah. And then she said, the landlady's going to throw her out unless we get that fire extinguisher recharged. So we go to the thing, we get the fire extinguisher out of the dumpster, we tried to find a place on Christmas Day that recharges fire extinguishers, and we couldn't, right? Nobody's open, there's not a 24-hour, right? So we finally found someplace the next day and brought it back, and she was crying, saying she was going to get thrown out. Then we find out she didn't pay her rent in 8 months. That's why she's getting thrown out, not for the fire extinguisher incident.
Why were you picking on this woman?
So, I don't know.
Did you know her?
No, she looked like a pinball machine with a ham hock in its mouth, right? And then years ago, there's a movie called...
Thank God they don't let you drive when you're like that.
Oh, my God. There's a movie called Avengers Infinity War. This is a Marvel movie, right?
Yeah.
I go see the movie in IMAX, right, 3D, whatever. It was very fun. As I'm leaving, I hear, "Hey, John, how you doing over there?" And it was her. She had like one tooth in her mouth. I thought she was playing a harmonica. All right, it was all.
Oh, that would have hurt her feelings.
Oh man, I did. You know, it looked like a little kid who had a mouthful of Fritos. It was like, look at me, and it was her. I go, "Hey, how you doing there?" And she goes, "Not too good," but that's the last time I saw her. And
well, since she got kicked out because you and destroyed all her Christmas presents, did she know it was you and she didn't scratch her eyes out?
No. Well, I think we apparently made up with her or something like that too. And then, but I also tell this story, and this is a true story. I'm one of 7 children in a row. We went to get our picture taken with Santa Claus, and you heard me say this before. It was at a German club in Philadelphia called Konstadters. And my mom would take us there because it was like she knew the photographer. And there were 7 of us. So until I was like a teenager, I got my picture taken with Santa Claus, and it was stupid because it wasn't Santa Claus that we know with the red outfit. It was Kris Kringle, St. Nicholas, the German Santa Claus.
Well, I've been Nicholas many times, John. But right? St. Nicholas, yes. There's actually a church down in Atlantic City.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And he was a German saint, I guess, right?
Okay.
But this guy was their version of Santa Claus, and it was weird because, with Santa Claus, you see at the mall, it's like, "Hey, little kid, what do you want for Christmas?" I want a teddy bear, right? This guy was deadly serious, and he talked with he was a real German guy. He was like, "So, little boy, what do you desire for Christmas?" And I was like, "I don't know, a fire truck, a G.I. Joe." He's like, "That's not practical. Let me see your papers." Dr. Jones, and he would like burn you. But no,
We have ways to make you jolly.
Oh my God! And you know how when little kids cry when they see Santa Claus, this guy would make you cry. It was evil looking, and also too, you know what they have there too. I talked to an Italian guy today. Right, I asked him if he knew of this. In I guess Italy's southern Europe.
Right.
All right. Well, the other part where like England and Yugoslavia and all Sweden and all that, they have Santa Claus, who was a Saint Nicholas. Well, if you were good, he gave you presents and chocolate and would fix your wooden shoes and circumcise you and check you for hernias. All right. Well, hey, little kids, if you're
He
good,
kept the tips.
hey, little kids, if you're good, Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas will give you a present. Well, in weirdo European land, they had an opposite of Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
It was his evil brother called the Krampus.
Oh, I know a little bit about that. That always freaked me out, though. I don't want an ugly
Well, you know what's
Santa.
weird too? What he looked like too? Santa Claus is always in a bright red outfit and a big white beard.
Oh, yeah.
This guy looks like he's in a brown robe with tree limbs for hands and ram horns out of his head. They made a couple of horror movies about it too, right?
Okay.
But if you were bad, he would drag you to hell for eternity. Like there's no middle ground over in that part of Europe.
He didn't even take you to purgatory or any place like that? Straight to hell? Oh,
But
man.
oh my God, if you read about these things too, like the book Pinocchio and the Grimm fairy tales, we only have the American versions. In the European version, there's like drinking blood and killing people and it's not. What's he doing there? It's not enjoyable. It's very weird.
It is very weird.
My friend Al, who I keep talking about, he has a neighbor down the end of the street who's not religious, but he's a pagan, like a heathen. And instead of putting up Christmas lights, he puts up a giant Krampus statue on his lawn, and he has light shining on it, so there's flames coming out of his lawn.
Yeah.
And there's little kids burning in eternity. It says Merry Krampus. And this year he put one up, and he's chasing a kid up a tree, trying to get them to take him to hell because he cried.
Those are probably goth people who are grown up. You know, they love that sort of that like anti-Santa Claus.
Oh.
Santa Claus was, as we know him, was probably started by Sears and Coca-Cola.
That's exactly
You
right.
know, and those beautiful ads for Coca-Cola with Santa and the beautiful red, and he's drinking down a beautiful Coca-Cola, and he's out there and he's jolly, and he's super white, and his hair is white, and his cheeks are red, and and everything looks so good. But that's the kind of Santa that I like. I don't, I like the traditional Santa, not like this.
What's
you
this?
know? Not like this kind of Santa. All right, can we? Yeah. And you know what this is right here?
I have no idea.
That's a Red Bull without a clause. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John. Had to do that.
At the comedy club.
It's spellbound right over there.
At the comedy club we used to go to. At the nearest mall, in the Chamonix Mall, there was a Santa Claus there. Big, heavy set guy, burl eyes, bald head, but a big white beard.
Sure.
And he used to stay at the hotel.
A Coca-Cola Santa.
Yes.
We can say that. I think we have a plate around here someplace with
with
Santa on it.
We what do you call it? He would stay at the hotel. It's probably under that Man magazine there.
Okay.
But he, dude, that's what do you have that horrible thing there? Anyway, but he would stay at the hotel, Santa Claus.
Okay.
Well,
Do you know what nationality Santa is?
no.
He's North Polish. You didn't know that, John?
I didn't know that. But what do you call it? So Santa Claus, I'd seen him for years, 5, 10 years when I'd go to the shows, and they had an annual Christmas party for the comedians.
Sure.
Well, one year he comes in, he went from about 350 pounds to about 125 pounds. Here he had cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to
Right?
hear that.
And he still performed the same. He just put pillows under his thing. But he would sit at the bar and get drunk, and he would get a dollar bill, and he would fold it up into a diamond ring.
Yeah, I've
and
seen that.
George Washington's face. I still have a couple in my drawer, but he would hit on girls, but he'd be like, oh, hey, I can't do it. Hey, honey. It was not like, it was creepy. Like a little kid would be sitting on his lap, and the kid's like, what do you want for Christmas? And he's like, I don't know, no tobacco products, Grandpa. But did you any encounters with Santa Claus? Did you ever play Santa Claus?
I didn't play Santa Claus, but I did play for. It was in Old City, Philadelphia, at a place called the Plow and the Stars.
Yes, famous place. Yes,
famous place. The Plow and the Stars, and it was right there. And it's an Irish bar,
yes,
John. And maybe you went there on vacation one day. But the Plow and the Stars, and they were doing it a little party in the morning, and you know how comedians hate the mornings. Mm-hmm. But it was for orphan kids. Okay, it was for orphan kids. And so we were there 8 in the morning or something like that, whenever orphans get up. I don't know. And it was myself. I was going to do a little prop comedy for the kids, and then there was a Santa. Well, we had been there since 7 o'clock, and the Santa was drinking heavy. Okay, and the Santa was drinking heavy. And, because he really didn't want to be Santa. He wanted to be Krampus or whatever the guy's name is.
It's a real burden.
He was not, he tried to be, a Sears and Roebuck, but
yes.
It was more like a Mad Magazine sort of Santa. But, so the kids come in, and they're kids from very urban North Philly
yes.
kids, and they're running around without and supervision, and there's giant women are just yelling at them, "Get in that seat!" So the first thing I hear from somebody is a little kid goes, "Santa smells like booze," okay? and they all run over to smell Santa, okay? And they say, "Yeah, he does," and it was like a great innovation or revelation for them, this to find out that Santa's, drinking, that he didn't get those rosy cheeks from,
being outside.
from eating cookies. So I get up there and I have my regular array of props, okay? All this stuff. Oh, look. Oh, that's the end of everything. Okay. But, okay, sorry. And so I get up there and, and the kids are all seated around me in a circle, and I take out my props. Well, these kids go crazy.
Oh, they thought they were presents?
They thought they were presents. So all these kids, they rush up, and I'm standing there, and it's like a beehive of little activity at my feet, because that's where my props are. I was just about to do my thing. So the kids are running off with, my plastic cow, my sheep, they're running off with everything. So they all go over in the corners, and they're looking at it, and they're saying, "What kind of presents is that?" One kid comes up, this little black kid, he's so cute, and he has a plunger, and he goes to me, "Can I get something different?" And I said, "No, sorry, I'm flushed out." So we were just that was, I said, "They're not your real presents." So they let me do my, so the kids, the big giant ladies go, "Give that back," and they all come back, and they're all like, put in a different place. So. And then for the rest of the day, we had a great time. But it was so funny seeing the drunk Santa.
What he was talking about this here, too, is one of the worst things if you're a comedian, if someone goes, "Hey, want to do a Christmas party?" The pay might be very good, but at Christmas parties at any office, they don't want to socialize and drink eggnog, exchange presents, and eat steak. They don't want to hear you take away from their conversation for half an hour, 45 minutes. It is a nightmare. Do not do it. I did one a couple years ago with me and Terry Gillespie. They call him Mr. Rubberface because he looks like Kramer, but he can pull his face apart. Right,
Mr. Rubberface.
Well, it was for a realtor group.
Okay.
All right. Up in.
Is this a lot?
I should have done that. Right.
Yes.
But we get there and the guy says to me, "Look, this is for realtors. Why don't you guys do a fake imposter and say you're real estate agents and you're going to give us a little seminar?" So in my mind, I did every joke I could about there's a neighbor in Philadelphia, nationwide, worldwide listeners. It's a real rundown neighborhood. So I did jokes about that, saying I'm trying to sell houses in Kensington.
What? Oh, Kensington, Kensington, a part of Philadelphia that is actually hell on earth.
Yes, it's a nightmare. It's like, but there's places
Drug
like,
infested. It's even back in the days when I first came here in the early '80s, they were talking about how you don't go under the L in Kensington.
And there's neighborhoods like it in Chicago, Texas, California, Watts, and just it's a bad neighborhood.
And the Market Frankfurt line, and if that was gone, you know what it'd be?
What?
No L. Okay, because it's elevated train.
He's right, but there's anyway. So this is, it's a nightmare.
Right.
So I did my jokes. I only do 15 minutes. Hey, I was wearing a suit like this. I did my realtor jokes like that. Well, you just talk about your neighborhood. I'm trying to sell houses here. By the way, right? Well, Terry Gillespie, Mr. Rubberface, looks like Kramer, with big curly hair on top. He goes, I'm not doing that. I'm not your performing monkey. And his act is very different. It's all non sequiturs.
He was
whack-a-doodle, whack, right? Well, he did 45 minutes, and I'm like, just, Terry, it's not your crowd. It's go up. He goes, no, they're going to get what they paid for, as if he's going to punish them. So I'm like, Terry,
I'm not going to say nothing.
So when it's over, I'm riding the elevator down with Terry, and he had a baseball hat on pulled his down over his face. Go in the elevator. These people are going, "Hey man, you're funny. Good job there."
Yeah.
They go, "That other guy, he sucked, right?" And he's right next to me. They couldn't tell it was him, and he just whispers to me. He goes, "I don't care. I got their check." He didn't care, but it's all Christmas parties are awful for comedians. It's a nightmare. It's awful.
It's not holly jolly.
No.
Okay.
Oh my God. It's just shut your eyes and get in, get out.
That's what she said.
Yes. But I'm telling you, man, I do comedy. Hey, you want to do a Christmas party? It's a complete nightmare.
I used to do a Christmas party. I'd come out with 4 calling birds, 3.
What's
5 golden rings. Okay.
It's like the Olympics.
Like the Olympics, yes.
And but I'll tell you, man, I dread doing Christmas parties. Last year I did something with Bob Levy up in Staten Island. It was for 2 firehouses.
Okay.
Oh my God! They just yell. They're yelling out everything. Everything you saw on a list of politically incorrect things to yell.
Slay what?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Man, they just F you, F this, F. And I'm like, ugh. And I have my eyes shut. Not that I was afraid, just like, I'm just waiting to get through this. And Bob's going, just do like 10, 15 minutes. They were screaming at me. Oh, I know. All right. So Bob goes up and he did it back to them, and they thought he was a god. 3 years ago, me and the legendary Wid had to do a show up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania.
Beautiful Hazleton. For bust out town.
Yes. For miners. And they weren't like coal miners. They were granite miners.
The promoter warned us.
Yes.
Says, nobody ever does good here. They're going to heckle you. They're going to, they're really, they're really coal miners who are proud of their profession. And, this is what they make Ford truck commercials about.
He's right.
It was Trump country too.
We walk in this back of a catering hall in the back of a hotel, and about 200 guys come in, and they all had hooded sweatshirts on that were dirty, blue jeans, and work boots that were the lace wasn't tied because they just got done their shift. And I think maybe it's coal mine or granite or some other kind of what do they mine for up in Hazleton.
Well, they thought it was coal, but they took it for granite.
And but he's right, man. I went up and I said, screw this, and I memorized about 10 dirty jokes. So I just went up and shut my eyes and just went up like Jackie the Joke Man, just repeated the jokes and just got through about 10 minutes before I bailed. The next guy was Brad Lowry, very funny African-American.
Brad Lowry, right? Very funny man.
They did the same thing to him. So Wid goes up and just hammers them with the props, and they had to look at him. Right, it was so funny, and he did I don't know, whatever, like 25 minutes, as much as you could do, right?
Sure.
Well, they had door prizes, Okay. And this guy at the minor won $150 coupon for Oscar Mayer products. Oscar Mayer products.
Hot dog.
Right? Well, Wid's there, and the guy goes, "Hey, man, I'll trade you this $150 gift certificate for Oscar Mayer for your inflatable woman doll." And Wid looks at the coupon and goes, "That's a bunch of baloney." And the guy just stared at him. But
that was a cold cut.
Oh my God, the guy was a big brat. But I'm telling you, man, it's you hear about comics playing nightmare stories. Oh, I did a go-go bar. I did a biker bar.
Yeah.
Holy good God, Christmas parties are awful. I just said to Wid too. You know what you need? A fat guy suit. And just come out and so you're comical to look at and go, oh, look at this. Hey, look how thick that guy's glasses are. I expect to see goldfish swimming by.
Oh, can you see the North Pole with
yes,
those?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I dressed up as Santa, and I came out, and the first thing I said, yeah, I've been sick, okay, because I was so skinny and things like that. But, John, I always have the opposite of
well, you're different.
I can riff on a theme, of Christmas, because I got the stuff, and I'll throw in a Christmas joke, pizza on earth, goodwill of man, something like that. But I always found that. But you know what I always found very difficult? New Year's Eve shows. Oh, those are the worst. New Year's Eve and 4th of July shows.
Oh.
Easter's my favorite holiday.
Is it why?
Well, anything that has to do with grass and chicks is okay with me. But
I hate playing.
John, I hate playing New Year's Eve because
Oh.
everybody's drunk and they're expecting something, and you're usually in a club, and at the end at 12 o'clock, when everybody's kissing everybody, you gotta kiss somebody from the kitchen or something.
Oh.
You're hiding out, and everybody's there with somebody else, and they're all friends, and they're singing, songs and all together and popping and banging pots and shooting people with squirt guns.
He's right. You're right. Christmas parties, New Year's Eve, 4th of July parties, and
4th of July is the worst because once you're on stage and then they hear in the distance, boom, 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 they all want to be watching those fireworks instead of your crazy butt on stage.
Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, and then nun funerals. They're awful. But he,
wow.
Oh, no, else we learned too, and it took about 10 years before the freaking clubs understood this. They would give up noisemakers that.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're trying to perform, they're all drunk on. It's just awful.
Yeah, they would. I think they learned pretty quick, not to give out those noisemakers, or the things that come out.
Oh yeah,
who invented one of those, and what are the purpose of that? That is it's docile, erect, erect.
The Philly fanatic, that's his tongue. If you ever see he has one, some super one in his mouth. Wow. But Wid and I did a show last Thursday in Hamilton, New Jersey, at a very nice.
Hamilton, New Jersey. It was once Hamilton, New Jersey is the blueberry capital of the world, right here in Jersey. And Hamilton was also, at the time, that was the bootlegging capital of the world at one time, because the booze would come in and they would take it to the Pine Barrens to Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. I think that they mentioned that in that show, Boardwalk Empire.
Empire,
but it's also a very big Italian population.
Yeah.
There was some drunk Italian guy walked by the place that had the rotisserie chicken.
Right.
And he said, tell that organ grinder his monkey's on fire. But we
stop it.
But we're at the show, and it was a very nice little audience, a Christmas show.
Uh-huh.
Very nice people. A guy we know, not a friend, but we know him. I'm not going to say his name like that. He's not a comedian, just a fan, whatever you call it.
Whisper to me who it is. Like, I got to go like that. Okay. All right, yeah.
Well, he sat about 20 feet from us at the bar, and he was talking to people, and he has a deep radio announcer voice. and the whole show.
WMAD, you're on the air.
Yeah, I know. And you're trying to do your jokes and stuff, and all you hear is this deep radio announcer in the background. So finally, the woman had to throw him out, and it was you had enough, and nice guy, but just I'm not. I said to Whit too, I'm not going to get mad. He's a human. He made a mistake. I'm not going to right. But you said it right too. Just tell him you can't come to my shows anymore.
Well, sometimes people can't handle it, and they get excited because they meet a celebrity like John Kensil, and I met Mariah Carey. Talking about Christmas, and I said to her, "Look, all I want for Christmas is you."
She makes $500,000 a year from that song.
You know what though? I don't mind her. She probably has some mental health conditions, but she's always smiling.
Oh,
and
she's got an incredible voice. She has a 4-octopus range.
Yeah, and she doesn't. She did that Heartbreaker one when she had those mini shorts on, maybe 20 years ago, and she. But I kind of like her attitude. Well, maybe mental health. I don't know.
And she was married to the producer, Tommy Mozzarella.
Yeah.
And who really helped her career out.
Yeah, well, that's when things got really cheesy.
Then she was married to Nick Cannon. I think she had a couple of kids by him.
Yeah,
and a Cannon. Cannon.
Yeah. Well, he just Nick Cannon was. He
has 11 kids.
He's from a very rich family. He's from
Is he really?
From Baldwin Hills. He's Baldwin Hills is a section of L.A. And his parents own a lot of real estate there. And
I never knew that.
He's not just
He has 11 kids.
Yeah, he's 11 kids. How do you think he can afford them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, can I ruin a heckler line? I want to ruin a heckler line.
John Kensil, and now we have a thing in our profession called hecklers. Okay, which are like mini Karens, okay, in the audience who will shout something out and try to disrupt you or give their opinion. And it is called a heckle, okay, from, a thing that birds actually do. We have birds right here, a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, there's a famous heckler line.
A famous heckler line.
Where the guy yells out, "Yo, you suck!" And the comedian said,
"That is a famous heckler line.
Yeah.
Ooh, you suck."
No. Like, that's the
show us your package. Or?
That's the heckler yelling to the comedian.
Okay.
All right. The comedian hears the line that's not true. The comedian looks around and goes, "I can't believe out of 100,000 sperm, you were the fastest." All right. Right. And the crowd's like, "Oh, you're a guy, Mr. Funny Man." Old hacky joke, right? Well, in real life, when the sperm are going to fertilize the egg. Here's the egg and all the sperm.
This is too complicated for me, John. I don't understand this.
Well, the leaders
science stuff.
The leaders of the sperm pack all hit against the egg, hitting right. The last guy, because they weakened the egg, he's the strongest because they're all the other sperm, and he's the one who gets it. So the last guy is the one who wins out.
I'm not saying anything, John. There's a setup for a joke right there.
No, the show.
I
know it's hard to swallow.
Oh, shoot, John. Why did you go there?
I didn't mean that. This show's
is a kid
show. No, but it's but I just had to ruin that heckler line, and meaning like we had that guy yelling at the whole time too. The show, and
you know what they yell at me? They yell, "Carrot Top." They yell things, Gallagher, or the, Rip Taylor, or, all the other, prop comics that are out there.
When we were talking about funerals, I made a little comment earlier. I have saved in my hand right here an obituary from the Philadelphia Daily News.
Watch your language, John.
Obituary. And it's one of my favorite ones, and I photocopied it. I don't know how long ago this was, though. I don't really see a date on it. I'm going to say at least 20 years ago.
Okay.
All right. Guy was his name is Diamond Jim Gibbons. He was 48. Wow. He was the neighborhood bon vivant who could sing, dance, and cook. He lived in the Mount Airy section of Philadelphia. Mount Airy, where Frank Sinatra got married. All right.
Frank Sinatra got married to Ava Gardner.
Yeah.
Right here. And Ava Gardner was, her first husband was Mickey Rooney.
Yes. Well, this guy led a real colorful life. All right.
Okay.
And he looks like a 70s soul singer from Philadelphia.
Yes, he's, let me see his picture right there. Okay, yeah. He's got the 70s. He's got the big collar.
A big walrus mustache and sunglasses.
Walrus mustache, a nice chapeau. That's hat.
And he's a very good guy and very well loved. But I love how the what do you call it? The obituary writer had to really not embellish. It got all this information for this guy was a character. Mm-hmm. Gibbons was 48. He worked for UPS for the past 20 years. And he got his nickname Diamond Jim when he got his first diamond when he was 19. A ring he paid for by shining shoes and selling the local papers at Old Shibe Park, the baseball stadium in Philadelphia. Right? In time, though, he acquired fine clothes to go along with the diamond. And he remained a sharp dresser, usually topped off with a quality hat. Right? His cousin, Tootie, said, it really says that, Tootie Edwards, he was a spicy person. He was jovial, lovable. When there was a family gathering, he was entertaining us with his singing or telling jokes. Never a dull moment. At 6'3", he was an athlete and well-loved. He always went to the Sixers and Phillies games.
Wow, it sounds like a very interesting cat.
Yes. He was a good-looking guy. They called him, all the young girls called him Casanova, right? And he used to joke around saying, I charge the ladies to look at me. Right?
Wow, that's
all right. And then
I'd like to get that job.
He teased these women by saying, I'm hemp the gemp, the ladies temp. Right? He knew all the personalities on radio and TV in Philadelphia. He's a real well-liked guy.
The ladies temp.
Yes. That's a line from his song, too. I'm the ladies temp.
Okay.
Right? He would invite people over his house. He was a great cook, especially soul food. He liked tomato soup. He could do anything with onions and greens. Right? He loved to sing. He had a second job delivering as a delivery guy, delivering gifts. Right? He was well loved, and it says here too. I got to find this one thing now. All right. He was well liked, and his sister said he always used to come over to my house with his laundry, and he would say, "Make sure you bleach the skitters out."
They put what newspaper is that?
Philadelphia Daily News. I just love, all right, and I guess the newspaper report
my goodness,
didn't know what that meant. Right? Oh my God! Right, but
well, a sharp dresser. You didn't say anything about my tie today. Okay, can I show my?
Oh, look at that tie.
It has all tiny. Here, let me get over there. You can see it has all tiny pink elephants on it. And I didn't know if this was, this was a statement on, the DTs, okay, being inebriated, or the pink elephant could be, it could be an LBGT Republican too. So I'm taking it for either one. But do you know that elephants actually have a drinking problem? Do you know why elephants drink?
Why?
To forget. Because an elephant.
Oh,
you see. And that's part of the thing.
When they can always go swimming.
Oh, that's irrelevant. That's a Marx Brothers show.
And
no more elephants in circuses. They don't have elephants in circuses anymore. No animals of almost any type.
Dennis Horan, very funny comedian, has a joke about that. He said he went to this Barnum Bailey Circus when it was still around, and he said there was protesters out in front protesting against the mistreatment of elephants.
Yeah.
And he said, I went out there and said, you people are crazy. Those elephants are dancing in there. Very funny.
I was backstage in Richmond, Virginia, at a Barnum and Bailey. I was working for them for a day, and the elephants it was so scary because they would be in the back by themselves with nobody around, and three of them would be dancing.
Swaying back and forth like that.
And to see that, just under normal circumstances, like they were corralled and wrangled already, and and a thing. But to see them dancing with each other was like it was magical.
Did you ever hear that story too? Elephants could be raised from a papa, is that what they're called, or whatever, little, and grow up, be most friendly around people. every 7 years, like on Star Trek,
Right.
they go on a rampage. They just freak out and they stomp their owners to death.
Wow.
I'm not making that up. They go.
No,
It's like Rumspringa for Amish people, but only with elephants.
The elephants, when they swim, have you ever seen elephants swimming? Okay. They're very good swimmers. I mean, they already have their trunks on.
No, he's right though. You said about the elephant swimming.
Yeah.
I've seen a video on a guy in the water looking up at the elephant. It swims like a dog. It just swims.
Yeah, it was like, but they don't say doggy paddle. Or they don't say elephant paddle, do they? They
No.
say doggy paddle.
Yeah.
But, the elephant is right over there, too.
And but it's a
A lot of poachers out there. Those poor elephants, they have to worry about ivory.
Did you see what they're doing with the different elephants too now to stop the poachers and rhinos? Right, they got this what do you call it? Neon pink paint that never comes off, and they spray them there so nobody can get it to
Right.
sell the ivory tusk and stuff like that. But
That's such a weird thing, isn't it? That they get these these elephants that
it's the rhinos too. What they do with the rhino, they'll kill it and just saw the horn off, and they grind for an aphrodisiac. Joy Behar uses it for a foundation, but it's just weird. The poachers over there doing it, and you always
it's
love
like an ancient art. It's like, what's the weirdest thing they make out of animals? Jello.
Yes, I've heard that.
They just burn. They boil down the marrow and the bones and the hooves and the other unmentionable parts of cattle, I guess, and it somehow congeals, and then they throw in thing and Jello. That's
Wiz,
shaky business.
you have that pizza box over there.
John, I will give you that pizza box. See? It's just like entertainment, John. It's the delivery.
Well, when I was younger, I worked at a pizza place.
Right?
Okay. And it was the most fun time I've ever had in my life. We love working there. We had a delivery guy there named John Saig. All right. I don't even know if this guy's still alive or not. A big weirdo, bad skin. You can walk by. The camera's on me. Well, he was a weirdo, a weird delivery guy, a weirdo, right? One night on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock at night, we had delivery for 2 large pizzas to a funeral home, right? And this isn't a joke. It's a totally true story.
Okay.
So the owner makes 2 large pizzas with extra cheese and mushrooms on it. I'm not saying that for exaggerating for the story. I swear to God, that's a true story. We did a Bible here. I can swear on things, right? The pizza guy is leaving to make the delivery, and he goes, "I'm the pizza guy." Because I made the pizza, he delivered it. He threw the boxes in the air, and the box fell on the floor and just wrecked everything. So we had to make 2 new pizzas, right? It's 10:30 at night. They ordered the pizza at 10 o'clock. And so he goes to deliver the pizza, all right? He doesn't come back. We're looking for him. He had other pizzas to go out on Sunday night. We get a phone call from the funeral home. I'm sorry, did I say that? He was delivering to a funeral home. And
Delivering pizzas to a funeral?
a lot of funeral homes have like apartments on the second floor, and the guy lives in the apartment on the second floor. He's usually the one, if he stays there, he goes and picks up dead bodies. When someone croaks in their house, right?
Rest in pizza.
Yes. Well, so the pizza guy never comes back,
Right.
Oh wait, a pizza funeral home. What kind of pizza is it?
What kind of pizza was it that they delivered to a funeral home?
What kind of pizza delivered to the funeral home?
I didn't hear you. Let's switch things. You know the punchline.
Right.
Hey, John, what kind of pizza did they deliver to the funeral home?
Tombstone. So the guy.
Why didn't I get that?
It's funny. It's one of your jokes.
I know.
What's this?
This is an Italian laptop. Okay, right there. Sorry.
Can you figure out what pie is? We get a phone call from the funeral home.
Okay.
And they go, "Yeah, you're a pizza guy. Delivered the pizza." And we go, "Yeah." They go, "We heard these noises downstairs after he left." Here he went down into the showroom where the coffins are at and was just looking at them. And the people upstairs, they heard noises downstairs. And here was this weirdo pizza guy. All right, and it was just insane. And the cops came looking for him. It was like trespassing. It was just a creepy situation. And I don't know if you get arrested for it, but they had to investigate. All right, and he came back like 1 a.m. as they're closing, and the cops had to interview him. And he's bull crapped around saying, "Oh, I went out the wrong door." But they caught him like lifting coffins. There wasn't dead.
Oh yeah, that's scary.
And there's not dead bodies in the coffin like you see in a horror movie. He was in the showroom. Like, look,
Right.
oh, look at that. But this
Can
guy.
I try this one out for size?
Oh, I wonder if we have time. Jim, how long has the show been on for? 50? Oh, can I finish up with the story here? All right. Oh, okay. We can only cut it up too. All right. So my friend Al is a Civil War reenactor.
Okay.
Right. He was doing the 125th anniversary of Gettysburg, the Battle of Gettysburg.
Okay.
By the way, all right.
The Italians fought in that.
Did they really?
Oh, Gettysburg. I'm sorry.
My friend.
I'm sorry. Instead of cannonballs, they shot meatballs over into me. No, I'm sorry.
So my friend Al, the Civil War reenactor,
Yeah.
he didn't want to go out there by himself,
Okay.
right? And somehow he talked this guy into going out with him, right, to the Gettysburg field from Philadelphia. It's like a 3-hour drive in the middle of a field, okay? Well, the guy drove out and followed my friend Al out, right? Because Al had to be in uniform and then do the battle, right? Now, I hope Al's listening to this, too. Al was in a
They didn't have any communication devices like this during the Civil War, John. And he's dedicated to his cause.
He was in the 110 Pennsylvania Infantry. This is an actual infantry that fought a battle, a group of men. Right? I asked him, too, one time when he did this. I go, Al, can I ask you a question about these Civil War reenactments? He said, yes, John, you may. I go, how do you know when to die? Right? You get shot, right? And he looked at me as if I was an idiot and goes, Kent, you just know. Right? Like, what if the North, the South doesn't want to lose the battle, and then when he dies, I shot you, right? Right? I don't
like kids when we were playing cowboys and indigenous people.
So Al ran off with this female Civil War impersonator, a Civil War enthusiast, right? Her name was Kim, and he leaves this pizza delivery guy who creeped around the funeral home with the members of his regiment. Right? So they had a campfires at night, and they had white pup tents, and they're all sitting around. The next morning, the leader of his infantry goes, Private Al, no last names needed in this story. Private Al, get over here. He goes, what? He goes, don't ever bring that weirdo around here again. The pizza delivery guy. He goes, why? He goes, we're sitting around the campfire telling stories of the war and heroic actions and heroic deeds that these guys did. And your friend looked at all of us and said, someone's going to die tonight. And he goes, we went to sleep with one eye open, right? And they go, then we woke up in the middle of the night. He drew a pentagram on the ground, the big devil symbol.
Oh, my goodness.
So the battle's over, and they all leave, and Al drives home, all right, on Sunday from Gettysburg. 2 days later, Al gets a phone call from the guy. He goes, hey, Al, my Volkswagen Beetle broke down. I've been sleeping out in the field for 2 days. Can you help me out? This is before pagers and cell phones. Here, his car broke down, and everybody drove past him because he was a freaking weirdo. All right? And one time we're closing up the pizza shop. It's the middle of wintertime.
Is this the same guy?
Same guy, John Saig. I asked him, too. I go, John, did you have any military service? And he said, yeah. But he goes, I got thrown out of the Navy. I go, why? He goes, I dropped a lug nut, a car tire lug nut, out of the crow's nest on my commanding officer's head and nearly killed him. Right? I go,
this guy sounds like a bad apple.
Oh, my God. Well, so we're standing in front of the pizza place. It's Christmas time. Snow on the ground. People are smoking cigarettes. There's a bar in the corner. This floozy comes out wearing a rabbit fur jacket like in the 70s, but it's the 80s. And she walks up to us all, and she goes, you got a light for my cigarette? And I go, sorry, I don't smoke. My friend Al goes, sorry, I don't smoke. And this guy had a light. And he goes, yeah, John Saig goes, here, I have a light. And he lights your cigarette for you. And she goes, thanks a lot. And she's walking away. He goes, hey, how you doing? And she turns around and she's all drunk. She goes, what do you mean, how am I doing? He goes, how you doing there? She goes, what do you mean, how you doing? You think you're funny? You think you're funny making fun of me? And she goes, yeah. and she flicked the lit cigarette right in his face and sparked, and right, and he shakes it off.
What a move.
Right, and he walks
My
up to,
kind of girl.
and he walks up to this woman, and Al and I are looking at him. He walks up to this woman, and he grabs her by her rabbit fur jacket, and he goes, "Excuse me, miss, I think you're possessed by the devil." And he threw her in the snow, right? And she gets up screaming and runs down the street yelling for the cops. So we all left, and we have no idea what happened to the guy. But
That's like a King horror thing. Stephen King.
Oh my God, it was insane.
Pentangles and Possessed by the Devil. I mean, what kind of? That's not a Christmas story, John. That's a Stephen King novel.
Holy crap! It was.
Speaking of Christmas, I wanted to do this before.
What's that?
I'm gonna right over there. Can I get this?
Up.
Right there.
What is that?
I'm trying to hang the mistletoe. All right. The mistletoe, John. Wait. Okay, right there. Yeah. Okay. My favorite, Gene Shepherd's A Christmas Story, right there. I can't believe that I did that myself. Here's John Kensil at any Christmas party. I'm sorry for making light of you.
And making light of me.
Hey, John, that was a pretty good that was a pretty good celebration of Christmas, and there's something to be said about it. That it does become the nicest time of the year at times. I mean, we had a great party. We played last night. That was a Christmas party too, John, and you did very good. And people were giving each other and loving and doing that.
I put a video up on my Facebook page with his friends with Drew Nugent, who's incredible. He's an incredibly multi-talented musician. He was playing 1930s songs, 1920 songs. But as he was playing with his left hand, he pulled out a trumpet and played both instruments at the same time. All right, very interesting, very very incredible what he could do like that.
You can look them up. Drew Nugent and the Midnight Society. And, they are steeped in the 20s music. You know how the Civil War reenactors, they have all the accoutrements. They have the, the hats and the, hardtack and, blue and gray. Well, these guys, they dress up as the 1920s. And they're just as festive.
Festivus?
Yeah.
Wait, is
that? Look, I'm asking him how to pronounce Festivius. Okay.
Wait, like like being festive? What's the Seinfeld? Festivus?
But not Festivus.
Celebratory.
They're fastidious.
Oh, fastidious. Okay.
Yes, about how they dress for the 1920s. And they get the shoes. They buy off eBay. You can people sell their 1920 suits.
Oh my God, and they're very expensive.
For incredible amounts. Yeah.
There's nerds online who relish in making videos of dressing as it has to be a certain year, like 1924.
Okay.
And it's not like I like the Rat Pack stuff, like a thin lapels, Benoit balls, everything like that you will wear.
Okay.
Right? But those guys, they go all out. A wallet with a chain, a nice snappy vest.
Oh, yeah. And, made out of the materials they had back then. They shun you like polyester, and because they're into the technology of the time, too. They actually, when they have their little jamborees, let's call it 1920s jamborees, people will bring the old-time radios with the tubes and the big giant horns that come out, or they'll bring in, a car, a Ford car from, I know about cars because I got married in a garage.
You got married in a garage?
Yeah, I couldn't back out. But I might have said
That's
that
neat, though.
before. Is that the second marriage I had?
These guys say things, they say like the 20s phrases like 23 skidoo, hey, what you got over there, Rockefeller?
That's a whites only water fountain.
Yeah,
okay, things they said
so
in the
1920s.
30s.
Yeah, so right.
Which is so weird,
That's the cat cervix.
How backwards we were in time that was actually on movies and film, on the radios, and and we were actually at that point in the culture that we still discriminated.
Want to wrap up this episode with my magic?
What? We are going to wind up this episode, ladies and gentlemen, with an act from a magician. Now, John Kensil wears many hats, okay? And this is something that he's been working on a long time, okay, with his magic act, okay? And it was magical to be here tonight and to celebrate Christmas with all you guys. And right now, John is going to pull off.
You can say you can count to 3.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, maybe you can help me. We're going to count to 3, and John is going to perform his magic disappearing act.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, repeat after me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. 1, 2, 3. Where'd he go? Come on, John, I can't do this. It's not called wig culture. It's Kensil culture.
I was kidding.
Oh, my God.
Merry Christmas.
And John, you should have quit while you were ahead.